BYU. I mean, they've just been impressive throughout the weekend, and they have been very sort of business-like, machine-like. They know what they're doing. They know who their key guys are, and they're going to keep feeding them.
Both teams currently with 14 kills over that first set. Sawyer Nichols accounting for half of them with 7. For BYU, much more of a well-rounded affair. Tufunga and Mosier each with 5. Muldaney not far behind with 4.
Yeah, it's that balance that this BYU attack has, and they have not really gotten the middles involved yet.
Indeed. Players like Gavin Chambers and Max Philippe haven't done much offensively. Harvard is going to get the first point here of this second set.
You know, for the Crimson, I think the biggest adjustment they need to make is just with the serve receive, just being able to at least give themselves a chance even on the toughest of serves.
They went right for the middle there, Brian Thomas. Monster block. Sawyer Nichols getting it done defensively now as well. His first block today.
Yeah, first one for Harvard as well. Just a straight up one-on-one. Nichols winning the battle up top against Muldaney.
How efficient both offenses have been as Shevchuk commits an error on the serve. With how efficient these offenses have been, those blocks are going to be very crucial, especially when we start getting real close toward the latter stages of each set. It's a big one there for the Crimson as Tufunga will serve for the Cougars. Far side, a little bit of a push from Birdie. Looking to respond is Mosier. Near side again, Nichols still no. Muldaney's turn, longest rally so far tonight. Birdie deflects back towards the Crimson side, and Fung can't get there in time. BYU's tied things up at 2.
Good anticipation there. Got all 3 over to block Birdie, and I think Harvard still had a shot at it off the deflection. Nichols just needs to let Fung take control there. He had a better angle at that pass.
Tufunga with a rocket serve, skims off the top of the netting, drifts a bit too far to the right side.
That little deflection may have just been enough to push it out, but that was still very close.
It's now Zach Birdie, the Corona Del Mar, California native, the senior. Right to the libero Fife. Opposite side, looking for Muldaney. Or excuse me, that was Mosier. Dig for Tufunga. Quick serve over the middle, and Max Philippe gets involved offensively, his first kill today.
Boy, this is what makes Herget so special. He is on the move, racing towards the net, has the great ability to slam on the brakes, and good anticipation by Philippe to read the quick set.
Tyler Herget currently 5th in the MPSF in assists per set, averaging 9.64. That is 18th in all of NCAA. He's had 4 instances averaging over 10 assists per set in a single match this season. He's currently sitting with 14.
And went over 10 in that first set.
Brian Thomas going to his left was Tufunga to receive and keep it alive. Just a bit too strong for Tyler Herget. Not too often you see a setter get a kill. We saw the setter for Lincoln Memorial get 3 of them in the game earlier against Merrimack, but Herget went a little bit too strong with it.
Looks like we're going to get our first challenge there. I think that was actually Muldaney who had that swing. He was pretty convinced that there was a deflection. Tough to tell. There wasn't any clear alteration on the flight path, but
there, a 2-point lead for Harvard turns into a tie game, and just like that, the Crimson take back the lead off the service error from Muldaney. Sawyer Nichols, 3 aces this season. Over the middle again, Gavin Chambers now getting involved offensively. Tyler Herget now targeting the middle with his passes.
Yeah, must have heard what we were talking about up here. They said they hadn't really involved the middles yet. All of a sudden, Philippe gets one. Now Chambers gets one.
The incredible timing of it all, those bang-bang plays. A split-second blink of an eye between pass and spike.
Nichols just trying to find a seam that wasn't really there.
Back and forth they go. No team really rushing out to a big lead. Going to his left for the dig was Birdie. Trying to go to the near side. Triple block at the netting. Well read by Herget along with Chambers. Far side now to Funga. Tufunga now with his 7th kill today, tied for the match high along with Sawyer Nichols. Low serve, Wolbert just has to send it over unconventionally, and Tufunga is going to capitalize back-to-back kills for the junior from Long Beach.
Yeah, spot on there. Again, low trajectory on the set for Wolbert, so he doesn't get much pace on the ball. And again, BYU so quick in transition.
Tufunga, 6 kills on 7 attempts, no errors, 3 aces, 2 digs, and a block as well. He's been all over the place. He's been outstanding today.
Well, it feels like that momentum is heavily swung in BYU's favor, but not able to really widen the gap here early on.
Quinn Bishop, who achieved his new career high in kills last night with 10, as the kill is there for the Cougars, and now they're up by 3, their largest lead this second frame.
Yeah, confident going to that back row attack, whether it's Tufunga or Mosier, whoever it may be, has been spot on for BYU so far tonight.
A little bit of a floater serve from Chambers there, trying to make him pay, and doing so is Zach Birdie. He drills one.
Nice quick run, reward the pass from Birdie, and a good run in the middle by Wolbert. Really sold like he was going to get that set, and that paused the block just for a moment.
Well timed by the Crimson, and now it's the junior from Jackson, Ohio, Owen Wolbert. His turn to serve. Goes right to Tufunga with the reception. Near side looked like they were going for Tufunga. It was Mosier. Getting the tool, he fights through the block. Sawyer Nichols emphatically.
Now that should be a big energy boost on the Harvard side. You'll love when the middles go back and play some defense. Owen Wolbert able to stand solid there and make a good pass off that big swing out of the back row.
Wolbert to serve yet again. Harvard down 9-7. Good dig, diving to his right was Fife, but they're unable to follow it up. And Harvard has now tied this thing up.
First ace of the set for the Crimson after they had 4 in the first. So, again, they've kind of gone toe-to-toe with BYU serving-wise. That was going to be a big key to this one.
Wolbert continuing his hot streak. Going to the middle, well read by Wolbert defensively. It's just pushed over by Nichols. BYU tries again. Tufunga drills one. He's heating up. Talon Jonathan Tufunga with yet another kill. BYU takes back the lead. That's kill number 8 for him.
Yeah, they're going to keep going to that matchup with Shevchuk right now in the front row. Whenever you see that setter up front for the other team, that's always a spot you want to try to at least put some pressure on and see how that setter holds up in the blocking game.
Tufunga, 6'5". It's a relatively average height in terms of men's volleyball, but just his overall size and his power. Another ace on the board, this time for the Crimson. The Cougars are trying to say it went a little bit far past that back line.
Well, not enough
final
for Charlotte
Harvard with their
to
first
challenge.
lead.
Yeah, first blush, I thought this one was in.
It was the serve from Adrian Shevchuk. No challenge taken by Sean Olmstead. The play will stand. Fung with the initial touch. Able to save it was Shevchuk. Great defense going down to a knee was Bishop for the dig. Getting the kill. Birdie capitalizes. And Harvard is in total control. It's 12-10.
Oh, outstanding defense by Fung. First touch, just gives somebody a shot. Great pursuit by Shevchuk. Harvard able to survive the extended rally, and Birdie beats the triple block.
Again, Fife with another dig off the reception from the serve. It rockets off of Fung's forearms. Point goes to the Cougars. It's 12-11.
Harvard picking up the defense a little bit here in the second set.
So far this season, BYU has either won in straight sets or lost in 5. Both losses coming to 5th-ranked UC Irvine. Miscommunication for the Cougars. They were out of system. Jackson Fife and Trent Mosier got their signals crossed.
Yeah, I mean, tough ball here on the swing from Thomas. Fife is trying to pull this one pretty much off the floor, and it just pinballs right off of Mosier.
Birdie.
The height.
Definitely looked a little bit awkward there on that release. Fung with a tough reception. Bad second hit by Shevchuk. Just slapping it over was Sawyer Nichols. BYU looking to capitalize. Bishop getting a piece of it defensively. Rejected! Sawyer Nichols went for it. It was turned away. Trent Mosier, or excuse me, Gavin Chambers in the middle.
Yeah, it's a big-time block by Chambers. I like the decision, honestly, by Nichols. This ball's up for grabs. He says, let me go and try to get it. And Chambers just takes away his airspace.
Chambers 13th in the NCAA in blocks per set, averaging 1.13. That's out of the reach of Adrian Shevchuk, and BYU is back up by 1.
Interesting. They try to mix it up and put Nichols a little tighter to the net that time. Even when he's in the front row, Harvard will typically set the sophomore a little more off the net. That time Shevchuk put him tight, and he could only bounce it off the block.
Tyler Herget already with 21 helpers. A little dink shot is good. Brian Thomas throwing the off speed, and it works for the Crimson.
Yeah, that's a really effective tip. It's when it can be an effective shot. You want to put it almost directly just over the top of the blocker, because even if everybody else comes crashing in like they did that time for BYU, if you put it almost directly behind the blocker and not too far to one side or the other, it's going to be almost impossible to really get good contact and give yourself a chance to make a play.
Max Philippe was diving in looking for the pancake to keep it alive, just out of his reach. Near side, tooling it was Oldaney. He ricochets it off of Quinn Bishop.
And the block was there, too far to the side.
They love attacking to that outside, do the Cougars. Off the skim of the net. Fung able to keep it alive, but that one's rejected. Gavin Chambers yet again, this time stuffing Sawyer Nichols at the netting.
Yeah, that was what Harvard was looking for early on. Better block from Chambers, and now all of a sudden that vaunted Cougar block starting to have some more effectiveness.
Pass for the opposite side. Great kill for Quinn Bishop.
It's a good job by Shevchuk. And Wolbert as well, I should say, making things happen on the fly. Wolbert still sold like he was going to be an option there when it was really just going to be Bishop all along.
Nichols drills it over. Outside again, and this time the Harvard Crimson get the block. Wolbert combining with Bishop.
That's all Wolbert really there, able to take away on the angle. Zini tried to switch it up, go down the line. Bishop made himself big.
16-16, rocket serve from Nichols. Oldaney with the kill.
Again, Herget just doing a good job finding who's in rhythm. Early on it was Tafunga, now it's Oldaney. Again, keeps everybody involved, but you have to know when to find the hot hand.
Both Tafunga and Oldaney with 8 kills so far in this thing. What we called a real underdog story here. Harvard definitely an inferior opponent against BYU. These West Coast teams definitely dominate the landscape in terms of college men's volleyball, and Harvard's there hanging with the best of them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've got the size to compete. It's just sort of being able to string it all together. And in what has been a little bit of an inconsistent start this year, this has definitely been the most consistent match we've seen out of the Crimson.
Cole Hauser has a service error, so now we're tied up again at 18. Largest lead of this set was a BYU 3-point lead. Harvard had a 2-point lead, and other than that, no one's really been running away from either set, even going back to the first.
To your point, though, the biggest thing working in Harvard's favor is they already had a West Coast trip where they played 3 ranked teams, so they know.
Antenna or back over the netting to the Cougars' side, and Shevchuk just kept his eyes open, knew what was available.
Well, he was.
Tafunga finds the back. No, he misses the back line.
Yeah, I thought that was in too.
And we'll see if we get a challenge here. Maybe not.
Yep.
The line entirely.
Yep.
If it hits the line, it still counts as in play. And they do give it to Tafunga, and we're back tied up at 19.
You could hit that very last millimeter of white, but as long as it hits it, it's in.
Herget with the serve. Trying to send it over on the second touch was Shevchuk. Opposite side, unable to corral that one was Mosier, and Sawyer Nichols with yet another kill. Make that 10 today.
Yeah, just no nonsense. Set it high, set it out. Let Nichols go and get it.
Tafunga this time on the opposite side. Still kept alive by the Cougars. Nearly a tool for the Cougars now. Harvard's turn to attack. Back and forth they go. Good defense by the Crimson here. Bishop the pass for Nichols, too strong.
Again, little tight to the net, and that's because Shevchuk takes that first contact. Now you've got somebody else setting the ball. Bishop, not a setter by nature. It's not a bad set by any means, but because Nichols isn't used to really being right on the net like that, you want to give him a little bit more berth.
Latter stages here of this second set. BYU already up 1-0 after taking the first frame. The attack for Birdie was too strong, and now let's see if Harvard looks to challenge this one here.
I really thought that was deflected.
He is going to
Harvard's
challenge
gonna
for a deflection. Head coach Brian Bays looking to see if this attack from Zach Birdie deflected off a Cougar before going out of bounds. If it stands, it's a 2-point lead for BYU. Should it go in the Crimson favor, we're back tied at 21.
Yeah, I really thought this ball changed direction again. You know, sometimes tough to see on review, but I'll say one thing. So far, our challenges so far have been fairly expedited.
Indeed, they've been pretty quick reviews. They've been well thought out challenges by these coaches. Definitely know what they saw, and definitely I think the players helping them out as well. They're the guys doing all this.
There's nothing Mosier could do there, really.
How tough is it to get that ball over a 7-foot-tall man from Moraga, California?
Very tough.
Sticking out one arm was Zach Birdie. He kind of threw off his libero Fung. Misplay there by the Crimson, and it's knotted up at 22.
Going back on serve, though, so Harvard won't mind that. At this point, it's just you're trying to get any sort of mini run.
They bring out Ian Little again for the serve. Strong serve right to Birdie. Bad pass back over to the BYU side of things. Mosier is going to make him pay.
Yeah, just a little over-aggressive there by Fung, calling off Shevchuk. You know, it wasn't such a bad pass off the serve that I think you needed to have somebody else step in and take the set there. Obviously, you know, you've got Shevchuk out there.
It's a clean one right to Bishop. To go to the opposite side for Nichols, and it's rejected. Trent Mosier was there. 24-22 set point, and yet another timeout going to be called by Brian Bays.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
You mentioned earlier, Ben, that
I mean, for Harvard, it's a light roster. There's only, 12 players on the roster, so a lot of that is sort of built in. You know you're going to go with Thomas and Wilbert as your experience in the middle. Birdie's been a staple at the outside over the course of his entire career. Bishop, though, is a guy who's moved around a little bit. He's played some libero. He's played some outside. So, where was going to be his best fit?
A strong set point here. Sawyer Nichols able to measure. Good dig by Fung. Touched over by Birdie. Mosier again gets the tool.
You can see he's played in a bunch of high-leverage games over the course of his career, whether it was early on with BYU, last year at Grand Canyon, now back with the Cougars. Not a guy who's going to be fazed by the moment.
If you're Harvard, you got to worry about three possible attackers. It's either Tafunga, Mosier, or Oldaney. Oldaney's been relatively quiet recently, but that's a big service error for Trent Mosier, and it's 26-all yet again.
He was going for it, trying to get the win straight off with the set. And instead, we continue to go back and forth into extra points.
This is the longest set of the entire Harvard Invitational. Before, it was Harvard versus Merrimack's third set. Harvard took that one 26-24. as that serve drills head coach Sean Olmstead up, BYU.
Well, they're going to be kicking themselves about those if Harvard comes back to win this.
Hargett trying to lay it up. It was well out of the reach of Oldaney. Too far. Sawyer Nichols gives BYU another 1-point lead.
Well, that was the opportunity there for Harvard. They got a tip. It was not necessarily a free ball situation, but close to it. They were able to run their offense, and Nichols just missed on the swing.
Hargett with 29 assists already. He serves. It was received by Bishop. Was it too far? Did it stay in? It did stay in. Brian Thomas ties it back up at 28.
Well, only for the moment. We're going to get another challenge here. Sean Olmstead saw his entire team tell him that ball was out. He says, hey, I've got two.
Have been the X factor in this matchup. It's really been the reason Harvard has been able to stick around in this game, more so the mistakes made by the Cougars in that second set. A lot of service errors, not just in that second set, but this game as a whole.
Yeah, and that was going to be, a real key for Harvard, not just this match, but really for the course of the season. They're going to have to be able to serve effectively and serve-receive effectively in order to get to be where they want to be.
Tyler Hargett with the Cougars already up 1-0. Serves it to Fung. And Carver's going to get on the board. Brian Thomas with the kill. Kill number 5 for him today. Sawyer Nichols currently holding tied for the match high with 11. He's tied with Oldaney of BYU. Both these offenses have been remarkably efficient, especially for BYU. 467 for the Cougars all match long. 33 kills, 5 errors on 60 attempts.
Very low error team, but still make you earn it. Good swings all the way around.
Tafunga drills one, goes right to Birdie. Just smacked over by Sawyer Nichols. Hargett lays one up, looking for Mosier. He can't get it to fall. Mosier's going to try again. Gets the tool off the triple block. Nichols was there, as was Bishop. Thomas as well.
It's almost like a play-action fake, right? He goes looking like he's going to hammer this ball and then just casually pushes it off Nichols.
Not often we saw Tafunga going right up the middle. Harvard tries to go up the middle, and Wolbert is rejected by Chambers, the middle blocker.
Yeah, really good start for BYU. This is what you want to do after you sort of grab what was a very nip-and-tuck second set. Try to put Harvard up against it early in the third, build the lead.
Coast road trip to start the season, but since then it's been a lot of home cooking. A couple of matchups against Manhattan, non-conference game against MIT on the 23rd, and then obviously hosting the Crimson Invitational here against Merrimack and BYU. And then next weekend they got a couple of matchups against NJIT, another strong team in the NCAA rankings. And Quinn Bishop, his turn to serve. Goes right to Mosier. Mosier, tough second set. Hargett has to go out of bounds past the line to keep it in play. Just pushing it over is Birdie. BYU's turn again. Tafunga again up the middle. And they've been doing that more often here in this third set. It works again.
Set.
Birdie gets the tool, but we mentioned Tyler Hargett before, Ben, and last year when they played Harvard twice, did BYU, and back in Provo, Utah, Hargett accumulated 68 assists and 13 digs across both games versus Harvard, including 40. Shevchuk to the opposite side for Sawyer Nichols, and he'll tool it off of Philippe. So again, this consistent 3 to 4 point lead that BYU has kind of been running with. It occurred a lot in the first set and kind of replicating itself here in the third.
Yeah, that's where the Cougars will live comfortably.
Outside hitter, both from Darien, Connecticut. Tyler Hargett, the transfer from EIVA school Penn State. He made the trip over to BYU, and now his brother has joined him over in Provo, Utah, as Tafunga is able to reject that attack bid, and he'll send it down to the floor, and BYU has one of the largest. Tafunga's been just about everywhere today. I feel like I've called his name the most out of everyone. Offensively, defensively, 11 kills, no errors on 14 attempts. He's hitting .786 today, and also tied for a match high 3 aces to boot. Tough first touch by Fife. It goes out of bounds on Harvard's side of the netting. That's a great serve by Zach Birdie, and he'll return to do the same thing.
And that's one that the Crimson needed there, just again to be able to string a couple points together.
11-8 Cougars. Birdie, the Corona Del Mar, California native. Offenses flying high here at the Malkin Athletics Center. Sawyer Nichols has his attack block detoned. Finding an open spot on the floor, that's Connor Oldaney. It's been a while since he's gotten involved offensively. That's now kill number 13 for him. 3 different Cougars with a dozen, and we're going to have a timeout by Brian Bays of the Harvard Crimson as they're down by 5 midway through this third set.
Yeah, you're okay at 3-4 to a certain extent. Once the lead gets a little bigger than that, you want to start to talk about it. Triple block there, but good measured swing by Oldaney. But some new faces in new parts of the rotation as well. New setter, whether it's going to be Shevchuk or true first-year Kai Gann. I think Harvard's still working through that. Shevchuk's had a good weekend, so maybe getting closer to sort of firming up that decision.
Max Philippe able to stuff Quinn Bishop's attack bid. They'll be on the road against Penn State before returning home versus Charleston for a couple matches. And they got a lot of road games in the month of March.
I think that actually went off Philippe and off the antenna.
Indeed it did, so Harvard is now down by 4 instead of BYU being up by 6. Now they're back up by 5 after tooling it off of Owen Wilbert. 14-9 BYU lead. We'll probably get into BYU's upcoming schedule next timeout opportunity we have. But it's Max Philippe, the freshman from Houston, Texas. His turn to serve. He had 7 total blocks in just 3 sets versus UC Santa Barbara. They go to the middle for Owen Wilbert, but Trent Mosier was in the perfect spot defensively. And that one was mistimed. Looked like they were going for Wilbert, but instead it was Nichols. And Mosier's going to tool it off of Nichols, and BYU has their largest lead tonight.
Yeah, not sure what the miscommunication was there. Shevchuk, I think, wanted maybe a slide ball for Wilbert, and then Nichols maybe thought it was intended for him.
Max Philippe returns to work. Another quick serve right for Wilbert. He almost punched it on a straight line. It was well defended by the Cougars. And that one is a monster block. Connor Old.
Big man.
Chambers, 6'9". 3 or more total blocks in 7 matches this season. He's now at 7 total blocks today. Another timeout is going to be called this time by Brian Bays again. Harvard down by 9.
Yeah,
2017 and 2021, including 3 straight Final Four appearances as well. It's been an incredible program history led by Sean Olmstead. In his 11th season as head coach, a 194-78 career record as head coach of the Cougars, and a powerhouse conference, the MPSF. You mentioned before UCLA, definitely the runaway favorite, USC and Pepperdine as well. There's some heavy hitters over on the West Coast. Another kill for BYU. They're up by 8. They're in total control this one here. Looking for yet another. Gets on the board offensively. He's the outside hitter. Tyler's the setter. And the two of them combine to get on the board for the Cougars. It's 19-10. Off the top of the net, and everything is just going right for the Cougars today. Oldaney gets a little bit lucky off the top of the netting.
This will give Sean Olmstead a chance to extend the bench a little bit. Herget has actually played a fair amount over the course of the year. And came into the weekend with over 20 kills. He's sort of that next guy up on the depth chart right now behind to 4 college programs come along as well.
Indeed, Coach Wes Mathers of Merrimack, former head coach at my alma mater, Nichols College. They've had an incredible rise of their men's volleyball program. During my freshman year, 2019, it was the first year that Nichols College offered men's volleyball, and it was super tiny, had a super tiny roster. Not a lot of guys coming in for it, but lo and behold, 4 years later, my senior year, they end up winning the conference championship, and Coach Wes Mathers last year bringing the Nichols College Bison to the Elite 8 in the Division III ranks. one of the biggest upsets in terms of
only program. And then, Sacred Heart comes along. Now you've got Merrimack. You've got some of those Division IIs, as you mentioned, St. Thomas Aquinas, American International, starting to grow their programs as well. And hopefully we'll just see it continue on over the years.
3 consecutive points now for the Crimson. BYU looking to respond. That's kept alive by Shevchuk. Bishop going back to the opposite side, and Zach Birdie gets another one, make that 4 consecutive points for Harvard.
So a little pushback here out of the timeout from the Crimson. And I don't think Sean Olmstead will be
trying to reach for the pancake was Trevor Herget. It does not fall, and Harvard getting a lot of momentum here, and Sean Olmstead is going to bring things to a halt.
Yep. Tried to let the reserves come in and close this one out, but he may have to go back to the regulars here.
By the Cougars, Gavin Chambers getting BYU back up on the board.
Yeah, good patience by Hauser to take that pass off the net.
Good assist there from Kyle Zedeker, his first one today. It appears Tyler Herget is going to finish the day with 39 assists. He did not reach that 40 mark like I originally thought. Harvard responds. Sawyer Nichols with another kill. He adds to his total, make that 14 today.
It's one off Nichols' career high.
Currently tied for the match high with Oldaney, both with 14.
Yeah, you look at that BYU box score. Again, great spread of the offense.
For the Crimson also has reached double digits in kills. He's got 10. They go to the opposite side, and Sawyer Nichols lays into one, and there's that career high. I believe he's matched it. One more will set his new.
Great pursuit by Fung there just to extend the rally. A rare miscue on the overpass, and right in the hitting window for Brian Thomas.
Match point for the Cougars. Zach Birdie, the serve. And that'll do it. The service error for Birdie closes things up here at the Malkin Athletic Center. BYU takes it in straight sets. 25-19 the final in set number 3.
I think some things for Harvard to take away from this, through 2 sets, one of their better performances of the year, going toe-to-toe with a big swinging team like BYU. But again, it all comes down to consistency.